Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through another live trade with you guys. Again, this is with SPX. I traded SPX a lot this week, but these trades are from Monday, April 18th, I believe. And I traded SPX twice and I made around $18,000 with it. So I'll go through that with you guys and kind of break down my setup and my trade and so on and so forth. So we had a really decent week in the market. Market had sentiment. It was very bearish. We sold off Thursday and Friday after the Fed announced interest rate hikes. So there was a lot of opportunity to be able to capitalize on a lot of high probability setups. That being said, I didn't take a lot of trades. Overall, I think maybe I took like 13 trades all week. I'll have to definitely look back and see, but it wasn't a lot, especially on Thursday and Friday. I think I took a total of 5 trades Thursday and Friday. I don't like to sit there all day, even if the market is selling off. I like to take a couple good high probability setups, make my money and be out. I'm not trying to sit at my setup all day and watch the market sell off. You overtrade that way, you can give back profits that way, and it's just mentally exhausting in my personal opinion. I would definitely take a break if you are planning on trading all day. Definitely take a break somewhere in the middle, probably from 11 to 1-ish. Market doesn't move much, so take your break around that time and then come back towards power hour, which is usually the last hour of the market. So like I said, I traded SPX a lot, so I'll go through these 2 trades on Monday. If the video doesn't get too long, I'll go through some of the other trades that I also took this week with you guys. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so these trades that I went through were actually from Tuesday, April 19th. So I'm going to go through that with you guys. We were trading live that day with the team. So let's go ahead and see what SPX was doing at that point, because I don't remember exactly what I entered at. So alright guys, so I have pulled SPX up. So like I said, these trades were from Tuesday the 19th, not Monday. So I'm going to go through these with you guys. There's 2 trades. I only recorded one of them, but I do have the recording of the full day, so you guys can see that. But my initial trade on SPX was above 44.10. So if we look here, this was the 18th, the day before. You can see that 44.10 was a level of resistance on the day before. And let me see if I can zoom out and see. Yeah, so that was yesterday's. The day before, it was the high of days. So this was previous day's high, 44.10. So that is why I decided to have 44.10 as my initial entry level for SPX, because it was the previous day's high. Now, that being said, if we zoom in here, so we can see SPX pretty much for the entire day ran. So the market was bullish on this day, and we had some nice momentum on this day. You can see on the 1 minute and on the 5 minute on SPX, really clean price action. Same thing with ES. ES broke out of 44.10 out of its VWAP level and went on to a nice little uptrend here. So futures was bullish as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video recording. Okay, so let me rewind some of this. Okay, so I entered SPX at around 9:47. And I entered the 44.10 calls. So right now it's 9:47. I think I probably entered towards the end of this 9:47 candle, because 30 seconds passed. And this is SPX. So there we go. I entered. Hold on. Let me just show you really quick. So SPX was breaking out of 44.10 there. I don't know if you guys saw that. Hold on. So on this 9:47 candle, you can see that SPX was approaching 44.10. Right now it's at 44.09. Once it breaks out of that 44.10 level, I entered. I didn't wait for a confirmation candle, and you'll see kind of how I made a mistake there. But you can see right here, SPX approaching 44.10. I'm getting ready to fill my order. There we go. It's breaking 44.11, and I fill my order there. And my initial order didn't get filled, so I ended up putting in a second order, and I got filled at 9:47 here at a price of $25.80. And you can see that my columns are kind of whacked out, so you'll see my fills out of order. It's just because I didn't have my columns in ascending order and descending order, sorry. So just keep that in mind while I go through it. So I got filled at a price of $25.80 at 9:47. You can see that that premium is starting to pick up, but what happens is I do get caught in a pullback here. So I didn't wait for a confirmation candle. What is wrong with my mouse? All right, let's go back to Thinkorswim. Okay, so I entered on this 9:47 candle here. So the 9:47 candle broke out of 44.10. Let's zoom in. This candle broke out of 44.10. I didn't wait for a confirmation candle, and the next level I had up was 44.13. So I really should have waited to see if the candle was able to hold above the 44.10 level. I did get caught in a rejection of the 44.13 level. However, it was fine because, as you can see, when I entered at 44.10, my stop loss on this was 44.05. The reason my stop loss was 44.05 because if you can see here, when SPX initially started its uptrend here, when it pulled back at 44.10, it retested 44.05. So the retest level for the 44.10 break would be 44.05, which is why I made 44.05 my stop loss on this play. That being said, I entered at 9:47. I got caught in a pullback. It retested only to 44.07, not even close to 44.05. So during this retest, there was really no reason for me to exit this trade. It was holding the uptrend still in place, and it was holding the 9 EMA. You can see here, bounced perfectly off of the 9 EMA, holding its trend line and holding the 44.07. Didn't even get close to my stop loss of 44.05. So when you're in a trade like this, you don't want to panic. You want to make sure that you have your trading plan set, which I did. I had a 44.05 stop on it. This is why your trading plan is so important. You should have an entry point. You should have an exit for profit, 2 exits for profit, and then your stop loss, your exit for a loss. If you don't have those 4 things, you will end up getting shaken out on potentially a candle like this when the stock is holding and continues its uptrend. So we can see that SPX did pull back here to the 44.7 and the 9 EMA and then ended up its uptrend. If we look at ES at the same time, this is your 940 candle. This is the 945 candle. So I entered on this candle, 5-minute candle. You can see that on ES, it did pull back to its 4400 level, which was the psych level on ES. It broke out of 4400 while SPX was breaking out of 4410, and it held the 4400 level back on the retest. So this would be a stop loss for potentially ES if you're watching SPX at the same time. And you can see once it did pull back to the 4400 level, this also held the 9 EMA and ended up continuing on a nice little uptrend. On the 5-minute, if we look on SPX as well, we have a doji candle, held the 4450, held the 44.05 level here on the 5-minute. Doji candle signifies indecision between buyers and sellers. And on the next 5-minute, we get a nice push up. It opens above the close of the previous 5-minute candle. Nice bullish momentum up here on SPX. And if we go ahead and look, I don't remember when I exited this trade, but this is a really, really quick, easy scalp. So I'm going to forward a little bit of this. So I am currently in a loss. Like I said, I got filled at 25.80. I will lock some soon. So I lock some. So my profit targets on this were my next levels of resistance. So we can see here, I had a level of 44.20, so that was my first profit target. And I usually do the 80-20 rule for the most part, unless I see strong bullish market or bearish market sentiment, strong sentiment on either direction. I usually do 80-20. So what that means is at my first profit target, I lock 80%, and then at my second one, I lock the rest. Or I'll lock 10% on the second one and then leave the other 10% as my runner. So usually that's how I recommend traders, especially if you're newer to the market, to lock as your stock is moving in the direction that you anticipated. So if the market has a bullish momentum, you entered and you want to hold some of your position, you always want to lock 80% at your first profit target and then hold the rest as runners, or continue to lock and scale out as the stock continues to make the move. So that's why it's so important to have your next levels of support and resistance already charted. Those are going to be your profit targets. So 44.20, 44.25, and 44.30, and so on and so forth were my profit targets on this position. What is wrong with my mouse? Sorry guys, my mouse is like acting up. I don't know what's wrong with it. All right, so right now we're at 9:52. I've been in the position for about 5 minutes now. And there we go. Stock starts to pick up here. Nice little pop on the premium. I do lock some here on this premium spike, I think. Got about a $5 move so far on this premium, which is really good. I should have locked some. There we go. So I locked some of my position here. I locked half of my position at 9.52 at $28.97. That's what I got filled out because I waited just a tad second too long. If I had locked right at that $29 push up, I would have gotten a better fill on it, but I did wait a little bit too long and I got a little bit less of a fill. But that's why it's really nice if I chart on Thinkorswim, so I watch my chart on Thinkorswim and I fill on Interactive Brokers. So I'm able to watch the premium chart. And sometimes it's really helpful to watch a premium chart because you can see where the premium spikes and potentially get out at the top of that premium spike. So I locked half of this position. I made around 3,000 so far on this position. And I locked it at 9.52. So if we look at where 9.52 is, this is your 9.52 candle. My target was 44.20, so I was comfortable exiting at 9.52, exiting half or 80%, like I said, at my first profit target because it got really close to the 44.20 level, which was my first profit target. So this was a really good exit here. You got a nice little pump up on SPX and then it touched that first profit target. Now you can look to exit the rest at your second and third profit target. So I don't remember exactly where I exited the rest of this, but let's take a look. And you can see after that the stock SPX did just continue up on nice bullish momentum up. Even on the 5-minute, you can see that each 5-minute candle opened above the close of the previous 5-minute candle until right here where it pulled back. Whenever that happens, it just signifies a strong bullish trend up if you start to see the 5-minute candles open above the close of the previous 5-minute candle. And we can see here, so nice move all the way up to 44.25, which is where I think I exited the rest of my position. I don't know what's wrong with my mouse, and it is so slow today. Okay, we're at almost 9:53 here. I don't know why this is moving so slow. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, my whole computer was moving so slow because I had too many things open, so I had to close some stuff. But all right, so we can see here we're at 9:53. Still making a nice move up on SPX. Looks good. I think I locked somewhere at 9:53, I believe. I got a little antsy in this position because the previous day was really choppy. So I don't like to overhold positions, especially if the previous day was pretty choppy. I like to kind of get in and get out of the scalps, which is what most of this week I did. Even though we had some solid sentiment, like I said, I don't like to sit in front of my laptop or my PC all day and trade. I like to take a couple good scalps, high probability scalps, and then just be done with my day there. I locked up some more at 9:53 at a premium price of $30.70. I only have 5 left in this position. So I started with 20 contracts, locked 10 at 9:52, locked another 5 at 9:53, almost 9:54. And right now I'm up a little over $5,000 on this position. And this was the 9:53 candle here. So I locked on the push up of this 9:53 candle. And this is your 9:54 candle holding 44.20, which is now going to be my stop loss. So whenever you end up scaling out of your position, you always want to increase your stop or you want to drop it if you're in puts. So because my stop was 44.05, as it broke 44.10, made it up to 44.20. Now 44.20 is going to be my stop loss. And you can see when it pulled back here, it pulled back to 44.20 prior to continuing up to the next level of resistance. Okay, so you always want to increase your stop when you're doing that. Your next, so 44.20 was my first profit target. When it breaks 44.20, 44.20 then becomes my new stop loss. 44.25 my profit target. When it breaks 44.25, 44.25 then becomes my new stop loss, and so on and so forth. So let's see where I locked the rest of my position right now. We're at 954 here. So the 954 candle is this candle right here, holding 44.20. Okay, so now we're at the 955 candle, and you're going to start to see the stock pick up a little bit. SPX starts to pick up. All right, there we go. Getting some movement here on the premium again. So we're right now at almost 956. So I'm not sure if I wait till it hits 44.25 or lock it before then, but let's see. There we go. So I locked the rest at 956 right here. So you can see the time is up and the realized P&L is in ascending order or descending order, ascending order. So that's why this is out of place. But I locked the rest here at 956.08 at $31.40. So my first exit was at 952. I exited at around $29. My entry was 25.80, $29. $30.70 and the $31.40. So those are my three exits, and I made a total of around $8,368 on this specific play here on SPX. So my second, whoops, what was my exit? 956. So entry was above 44.10. Entered here at 947, pulled back, held my stop loss, held a 9 EMA. First exit here at 952, second exit at 953, and I exited the rest of it at 956 on this candle. So my second play on SPX, I didn't end up recording. I thought I hit record and I did not. But you can see here, this is the live video. It's only 20 seconds long because I didn't record all of it. But I did end up making around $10,000 on the second play that I took with SPX. So I'll go through that really quick with you guys as well. I entered this at 9:59 and I had a couple of exits at 10:08, 10:11, and 10:12. So let's take a look at what was going on at 9:59. So I entered at 9:59. This was the 9:59 candle. Okay, so my previous exit was at 9:56, which is fine. I exited at 9:56 prior to touching 44.20. Now, if I want to re-enter SPX, I would wait for the 44.25 break. That would be my entry point on SPX. And ideally, you want to wait for a confirmation candle. So 9:59 wouldn't be the most ideal entry. The 10 o'clock candle would be the ideal entry because then you would also see the next 5-minute open as well on SPX and then the next 5-minute open as well on ES. And you can see ES held 44.20 at the 10 o'clock candle. SPX held 44.25 on the 5-minute 10 o'clock candle. So that would have been the most ideal entry. You always want to wait for confirmation of a hold above the level that you're looking to enter at or below the level that you're looking to enter at. For this specific play, I entered at 9:59 and I exited some at 10:08, which was right here. So 9:59, 44.25 entry. Next level of resistance is 44.30, so that would be my first profit target. 44.33, 35, 37, and 40 would be the next levels up, and they would then be my next profit targets as well. With 44.40 being a psych level, that would be my ultimate profit target, as well as 44.40 is a stronger level of resistance and support on SPX because it has touched multiple times. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I entered at 9.59 and it pulled back to 44.25. So 44.25 would then be my stop loss on this position. I wouldn't really do 44.20 because I want to keep it tight. It's my second position in. Sorry, it's my second entry on SPX, and I think the 44.25 is a solid level of a stop loss to keep on this. You could do 44.20 if you want to give it some room to breathe. However, I think the 44.25 is good because it was a level of resistance that it broke out of, and it should be able to hold that level of resistance. If this is a strong bullish move down, bullish move up, it should not be able to break back below 44.25. And then ES at the same time, 44.20 needs to be able to hold on ES for this to continue on the upside. So that being said, I exited some of this position at 10.08, 10.11, and 10.12. The 10.11 and 10.12 entries, I got the same fill, really close to the same fill it looks like. So I could have just exited all at 10.11. But let's go ahead and take a look. So the premium went from $22 to $24 and then $27.50. So 10.08. So I exited some here once it held 44.30. So entry 44.25. Next level, you want to lock most of your position at your first profit target. So 10.08 held 44.30. That was my first profit target. I locked most of my position there at 10.08. The next level that I exited at was 10.11 here. It broke out of my 44.35 and 44.37 and got close to my 44.40 profit target. I exited some at 10.11 and then the rest at 10.12, right? Or was it 10.10 and 10? Yeah, 10.11 and 10.12. So exited some at 10.11 and then the rest at 10.12 once it got so close to 44.40. SPX here, you can see that at this 10.10 candle also got really close to 44.35. So ES futures 44.20, and the next level of resistance that I had on it was 44.35. So you also want to pay attention to what ES futures is doing as SPX moves. SPX does move a lot quicker, so you can get a bigger move on SPX depending on where ES futures next level of resistance or support is as it's making its way up or down. So you definitely want to keep in mind that. So I had from 44.20 to 44.35. So I wanted to pay attention to where if ES would reject at 44.35, and it did here on this 10.10 candle. So I was comfortable exiting SPX here at 10.11 and 10.12 as my final exit points on this position. Okay. And then total here, I made around $18,700 on this position. So this is all I traded this day. I didn't trade anything else. And the last trade that I took ended at 10.12. So it was about a 45-minute trading day. Probably less than that because I wasn't actively trading before that. But really, really high probability scalps here. 2 trades, that's all I took. You don't need to over trade on days like this, even though you have solid bullish sentiment. You could either day trade, watch it on a higher time frame like the 5 and 15-minute time frames, and then just day trade. So hold this for a longer period of time. You can definitely do that because if you look at the 15-minute clean trend up, I personally like to scalp. So I like to scalp from one level of resistance to the next level of resistance, or one level of support to the next level of support. And I think that's the easiest way to go about it if you are newer to trading SPX and watching ES futures at the same time. All right, guys. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment down below or shoot me a DM on Instagram or Twitter. All of my social media is linked down below, so be sure to check the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.